having some serious problems with my computer. You know what they say about downloading new software? Don't do it. Anyway, this is going to last about a minute recording from photo booth before it starts lagging behind. So I'm apologizing to you in advance. I've got a series of clips that I took using my iPhone. The quality of this video is not going to be great, but I don't know how long this problem is going to take to rectify. I've spent several hours on the phone with Apple already going through all sorts of things, including completely wiping the computer and starting over again. I'll spare you all the details. But anyway, this is just to let you know that I'm sorry, but this is the best as I can do this time, and it might be several weeks before I get this sorted out because it might mean taking the computer into Vancouver. So bear with me. Hi there, this is Michelle. This is the Knitting Instinct episode 2. I recorded my first episode in the beginning of the year, and I wanted to say thank you to those people who watched it, and I really appreciated your kind comments. And welcome back. And to those of you who are just joining in for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. First thing I wanted to tell you is that I'm a grandmother now. If you'll remember, I was talking about our daughter-in-law being in labor on the day that I recorded. And in fact, I don't think she really was. She was maybe just in pre-labor stage, and the baby wasn't actually born until the 12th. So we have a baby girl in our family. Her name is Bianca, and she's doing really well, and so is Mom and Dad. They, unfortunately, are in New York, and we are in Powell River, British Columbia, so we won't get a chance to see her until May, when we will go spend a couple of weeks with the family. So, yay, grandparents. We're excited about that. I wanted to pick up where I left off about our resident sea lions. I was planning on going out to take some video footage of them, but for whatever reason, they kind of disappeared for several weeks, and it was really quiet around here and kind of nice in a way. But I noticed this morning that they seem to be back because it's quite loud out there, so I took out my iPhone and I got some video of our neighborhood, and at least you can hear them. So let's go out. I wanted to talk to you about the book that I just finished reading. It's called The Nordic Theory of Everything, and the author is Anu Partanen. She's a Finnish author currently living in New York City. And this book is really interesting because she's contrasting her life and the lifestyle of the Nordic countries with the American lifestyle. And I really enjoyed that book. I'm going to insert a picture of it here for you to see it. If you get a chance, I highly recommend it. It's a good read. I tend to be pretty much attracted to anything Nordic. My grandfather was from Norway. He came from there when he was a really little boy, and the family settled eventually in Saskatchewan in Canada. But I'm always intrigued to learn more about anything Norwegian or from the other Nordic countries, which is one of the reasons that I'm really enjoying watching the podcast Knitography from Patricia. She is P4 Chen, that's the letter P, number 4, CHEN, on Instagram. And she lives in Norway near the Selbu Lake, and she's been taking us outside and showing us different parts of the area that she lives in, and connecting that to knitting, and particularly knitting in from the area that she lives. So if you haven't had a chance to look at her vlog, I would suggest that you have a look at it. It's really, really enjoyable. One of the things that's interesting about Norway is that, as I said, my grandfather comes from there, and we were told when we were small, and I don't know if there's any truth to this at all, but our family comes from the Telemark region, and it's said, and this could be a really just an old wives' tale or like a big tall tale, that our ancestors invented the sport of ski jumping. So I don't know if that's true. If anybody knows anything about that, it would be interesting, but I kind of doubt it. But there may be some shred of truth to it, because coming from Telemark, that would make sense. That's where the sport, the Telemark landing, I'm sure you've all heard of that during the Olympics. So that's my little Norwegian claim to fame. I also wanted to call your attention to another new podcast. It's called Missy Knits, and it is by my little sister Melissa, who lives in Saskatchewan in Canada. And it's really interesting, and of course I love seeing it because it connects me to her. We're many, many miles away from each other, stretched out across our very vast country of Canada, and it's really nice to be able to connect with her and see what she's doing. Melissa and I, it's funny because you would think as an adult woman I would call her my younger sister, but I always think of her as my little sister. And I think part of that is because we have been living sort of separately from each other from the time we were, well, I guess she would have been 5 and I was 11. It was just the circumstances of our life. But so we weren't very close when we were little. We didn't really grow up together from that age on. But when she got married, she decided to have me as her maid of honor, and that was 27 years ago now. And ever since then, we've been very close, and knitting is one of the things that keeps us connected. So you might want to check it out. It's called Missy Knits, and it comes from, the name Missy comes from the fact that she used to be called Missy by our grandmother. I'm going to put in a picture here if I can and show you her when she was little. And I think part of the reason my granny called her Missy, maybe it was short for mischievous, because she kind of was, but my God, she was adorable. I think you'll agree. Here's a couple of pictures of my sister. And on to the knitting. So here is my finished project. I was finishing this up last time I recorded. This is the Big Star Shawl by Julia Billings, and it is really, really a beautiful knit. I used a yarn called Echo DK wool from Estelle, and I am really, really happy with it. It was not super expensive yarn. I think the project maybe cost 40 or 50, yeah, maybe about $40 in yarn, and it's really beautiful yarn. It's very rustic, and it is soft, and I keep this on my knitting chair, and I put it on pretty much every morning when I come down and start my knitting for the day. And I really, really highly recommend this pattern, and it's a beautiful finished project, probably one of my favorites. So that's what I finished, and I'm going to just show you what I'm working on. And I do want to apologize for the really strange quality of this podcast today, because my computer is lagging, so I'm having to do this all on my iPhone, so sorry for the transitions and the stops and starts. Next up, my Umaro blanket. And here it is, in progress. I am almost through the 6 repeats. It is a Brooklyn tweed pattern by Jared Flood, and a bit of cable detail. I am double stranding this with Echo, what is it, Cascade Echo wool in sort of a gray silver color. This is meant to be a home a housewarming gift for my son Caden and his girlfriend Aurora. It's his first time out on his own, and I thought that was warranting a special gift from Mom for those moments where he might need a hug and I'm not there. He can put the blanket on him and be reminded of Mom, and that I'm always there for him one way or the other, just a phone call away or a hug away. Really like this project, almost finished with it, and I'm really excited to move on to other things. And so the next project I think that I'm going to start, well, maybe not the next, but something coming up soon. I mentioned to you in the first episode that I'm really interested in steeking a sweater for myself. And Rosemary and I, my good knitting buddy Rosemary, who's ahead of me in the steek department, we've decided to do a cowl. And I'm looking down at my notes because I'm going to screw up this pronunciation. This is an Icelandic sweater, and I think it's pronounced Ridura. It's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and it's very beautiful. But it's an Icelandic word, and some of the letters I think are Icelandic, but it looks like Rydraud, but the D's aren't D's. They're must be sort of an Icelandic character of some sort, but you will find it because I will put notes on the show notes about where to find this pattern. So yeah, Rosemary and I have decided that in March we're going to do this pattern. If anybody else is interested in knitting along informally with us, that would be fun. It should be interesting to see what this, if the steeking business is as tricky as I think it's going to be, or if it's simple. Anyway, it's a challenge, so here we go. So thanks for following me around my house today. Hopefully by the next time I record an episode, I'll have my computer problems all sorted out. Do you know what? This is the thing. You download new software and everything gets messed up. And that's exactly what happened to me. Everything was fine. Downloaded the new operating software for my iMac, and now I've got this lagging problem. So anyway, hopefully I'll get that sorted out and give you a proper episode the next time around. Next time, I think I'm going to have some footage of Vancouver because we're going to be down there for some work things and also some yarn shopping. And I plan on taking my camera with me and getting some footage of Vancouver for those of you who are not really familiar with the city. Hopefully it'll be something to look forward to, and I look forward to sharing that with you. I hope that you all are having a great February so far, and that you're enjoying whatever projects that you're working on. See you soon. Bye.